Management team, bless your people with a light touch on the job in all your world. Bless all the people in the world and your world with a light touch. Don't make such heavy weather about everything on the job, boss. Let the little things go. Let everything you can go. Did you know that your emotional stability can be gauged by the number of things that you can let go? How much can you let go with that teenager, Daddy? Honey, let's just let that go. It's not worth the fight we're going to have here. Daddy's going to let that go. Hope it don't happen again. But we're just not going to mention it anymore. How about your spouse? Let's let that go. This is not big enough to fight about. Let it go. If you can possibly do it, let it go. Use a light touch. Everything's got two handles, folks. Everything's got two handles. It's got one like this, and it's got one like this. Hey, folks, get it by the light handle. Get it by the light handle. Bless the people out there in your world with a light touch. The old proverb says you will break the bow if you keep it always bent. Listen up, Supervisor. You will break the bow if you keep it always bent. You have to do like the ocean. You ebb, and then you flow. And then you ebb, and then you flow. You can't flow all the time. You can't flow all the time. Impossible things can be done with a light touch, y'all. Impossible things can be done with a light touch. I memorized the poem years ago. I don't know who wrote it, where it come from, but everybody knows it, I think. Somebody said that it couldn't be done. He with a chuckle replied, well, maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with a bit of a grin. On his face, if he worried, he hit it. He started to sing as he tackled that thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody said, you'll never do that. At least nobody ever has done it. He took off his coat and he took off his hat, and the next thing you know, he had begun it. Tilted the chin, just a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quibbling, he started to sing as he tackled that thing that couldn't be done. He did it. Now, there are thousands who will tell you it cannot be done. Maybe thousands will prophesy failure. Thousands may point out to you one by one all the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle right in with a bit of a grin, take off your coat, and go to it. You start in to sing as you tackle that thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it. Impossible things to be done with a light touch. I know you've all had a time when you was nervous and upset, and you was under stress, and you was anxious. You couldn't have found your fanny with both hands, you know. And you said, well, the heck with it. Just forget about it. And then there it was all the time, right under, you know, when you look, all the time, right under, you know, the light touch, it's invaluable. You're in a stressful job. Lighten up, management team. Lighten up. You're in a stressful job. I worked 42 years in your industry, and it wasn't unusual for an ambulance to come to the mill and get a boss. We hear a siren. We knew it was a boss. We just didn't know which one it was. Where he ran the wheels off. Take it easy and lighten up. Learn to ebb and flow. Learn how to relax. I'm gonna help you learn how to relax. Everybody hold your hands up. Lift them up now. Anytime you're uptight, you can tell by looking at their hands. Just a minute that you totally relax your hands, you're gonna feel it go up both of your arms. Relax them. Now your tongue, y'all. This is gonna help you a lot of time. This is gonna help you a lot of time. When you can't sleep at night, remember this. Get your tongue in the middle of your mouth, get it off the top and off the bottom, get it right in the middle, keep your hands up, and get your tongue in the middle of your mouth and let the inside of your body sink down about 2 or 3 inches. Now close your eyes. Now roll them back in your head. Ain't that good? You relax, huh? All right, wake up now. I don't want you going to sleep on me. And go find your hiding place now. Don't go around like this on the job. They're going to wonder what you've been smoking. But when you bless your people with a light touch, you'll bless yourself when you do. And boss, be sure and use a light touch when you're trying to settle your grievances. Settling grievances, you know. They had a reform union organizer that spoke at the personnel department in my town just a few weeks ago. And the basic thing he told them was, if the best thing you could have in your business, not just about the union, but about keeping your people on your side, is a good grievance a good grievance program. This recognizes your employees' right to disagree with you. Hey, they don't have to agree with you on everything. Give us the right. Recognize our right to disagree with you. And I like a suggestion box. They don't do it. I tell them everywhere I go, but I don't think but very few have done it. But you've got two kinds of grievances. You've got frivolous grievances. It's nothing. And you have to remember this. When they write that down on paper, it's already solved. It looks so silly when they write it down. This is going to take care of a lot of your frivolous grievances if you had some kind of little suggestion box. If you read my book, you'll see what I said about that. But and then the serious grievances, they need to be settled fast. I called a guy where they had voted the union in up north, and I said, what are they doing for y'all? He said, well, nothing as far as money's concerned, but they are getting the grievances settled. He said, if we have a grievance and they don't settle it in 24 hours, we call the union hall. And said, boy, it's settled in 24 hours after that. Management team, if the union can make you settle a grievance in 24 hours, you ought to be able to do it without being made. Settle your grievances fast. Small grievances, it's overlooked, pushed aside. They don't go away. You know what they do? They settle like silt in these people's minds, and it is a time bomb. You got a bunch of time bombs walking around out there on your job if they've got unsolved grievances. And it won't be the big things usually, the little things. So one time this couple got lost in the jungle. Overnight, nobody could find them. Finally, the next day, they found them, and somebody said, boy, I bet the lions and tigers and alligators like to scare y'all too. They said, no, we didn't see a lion, a tiger, or an alligator all night, but the gnats and mosquitoes like to eat us up. Management team, y'all already know this, but it's probably the gnats and mosquitoes that eat you up. You need to have a gnat and mosquito man. Work with that suggestion box. Settle your grievances fast. Recognize our right to do this. It's no secret that almost every union that has ever been voted in was voted in on some unsolved grievance between labor and management. So this is very important. And it's usually not all the bosses that's doing it. It's usually just one or two bad guys. I'm sure a lot of y'all older guys would remember the problem at Darlington, South Carolina. One of the big textile mills, the union voted in, the mill was closed. It was the only job in town. If it hadn't been for that racetrack down there, it would have wiped that city off the face of the earth. When that mill closed, everything stopped. They took them to court. The union said they closed that mill because they voted the union in. They took them to court. For 20-something years, those people sat down there and waited to get some money out of this company. Most of them died, ruined thousands of people's lives. Finally, after about 20 years, a few of them got some money. One of them had an interview in the Greenville News. His name was Raymond Spann. I remember it. I saved it. He said, the sad thing about it, this should never have happened. He said, we had nothing against the owner of this plant, called him by name. We liked him. But said they had two bad guys on that management team who pressured people, treated people, he said, like dogs, treated us bad. That's what we say. He treated me like a dog. You know, y'all heard that. Probably said it. But anyway, had two bad guys that did that. He said up till the day we voted, if he would have gotten rid of those two bosses, we would have never voted the union in. Two bad guys in management wiped out a city, ruined thousands of lives, cost this textile man billions of dollars. Two bad guys in management. So it's usually not the whole team. So look around you. Not everybody can be a boss now. That's the point I want to make. Not everybody can handle other people. This is a cold, hard fact of life. But in an industry like ours, where you have what we call labor intensive, you have so many bosses. Sometimes you'll get one, two that shouldn't have been there. We had a few. We call them toe bosses. from a story I read. One time God was looking down on the world and he saw, it looked to him like one big person. You know, some people was arms and some was legs and some was, ears. This guy was a toe. So he said, God, I don't want to be a toe, I want to be an eye. I said, no, I made you a toe. He said, yeah, but God, I don't want to be a toe, I want to be an eye. I said, no, just be the best toe you can, that's all I ask. He said, yeah, but God, I don't want to be a toe, I want to be an eye. I said, all right, go ahead and be an eye. But the only thing you're ever going to see is the inside of a sock. We managed to get a few toes in our management team. Somebody trying to make an eye out of them, and all they could see was the inside of a sock. Now, I know that nobody in this crowd is a toe. And I know that nobody viewing this tape is a toe. But if you see one, now you tell them what I said. Not everybody can manage other people. And it's not their fault. They wasn't programmed right. There's nothing wrong with being a toe. You couldn't walk without your toes. But you're going to need to be an eye to manage people. And based on my own observation, experience over the years, one of our big problems was unqualified people in management. And they got the job because they were somebody's nephew, somebody's buddy, somebody's friend, somebody's protege. Or they worked their way up and was just popped into management automatically. And they can't manage people. They never could, they never will. And so sometimes they clog up a management structure and they hurt it, forever, for years and years. Any business is a reflection of its management team. Your business is a reflection of your management team, not your workforce. You manage right, we work right. If you're having trouble in your operation, with production, quality, loyalty, whatever, check up on your management people and your policies. You may have, there might be somebody with a toe or two. They may be not be seeing these people as human beings. I bet I've heard 100, maybe 1,000 people say, and I've said it, well, all I want him to do is treat me like a human being. How many of y'all have heard them? How many of y'all, you have heard it? You've probably everyone said that. What do we mean when we say that? I'm afraid the human element wasn't put in the early management training programs, I just want to be your equal, just in a different role. We're all human beings, right? I'm a human being, you're a human being, so that makes us equal. We're just in a different role.